all the logistics, all the logics.
Oh my gosh, the logics. The logic sticks.
The logistics.
Mikey Dojo.
Oh, yes. Now that I'm sitting down, you want more juices?
Also, if you go, do you want hotel or do you want Airbnb?
All the logistics, all the logics.
Oh my gosh, the logics. The logic sticks.
The logistics. You ready? Are we doing it?
Yeah. Welcome to the second episode.
This is the dojo.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we need our logic sticks to start practicing with or something like that. Slap something.
Some people do like tea time. This is our juice time.
Yeah, and kombucha, homemade.
How was your day today so far?
The sun's been out, and that's an amazing thing. So I got quite a bit of it, quite a bit of sun so far, but I want more because it feels so good. The sun has put a smile on my face. Today's been amazing. I still rose kind of early. Probably, I was up around like 7 something, but I just stayed in bed to meditate for like an hour. But I for some reason here in Nepal, I cannot sleep in. Like, I don't know what it is. And I put out the energy too. I'm like, at night, I'm like, all right, I put out energy. But no matter what, like I just keep rising early. I want to sleep.
Is there something that you feel like you gotta do, like energy-wise, and that's why you're rising up early, or you have a lot of energy because you're so alive? Or
It's probably because I don't put all energy out at the very end and like really meditate before bed or put it out like that latter part of the day. But it's so strenuous. I could see it taking a toll on my face every time I do it. And I can see me aging when I do that type of meditation. It's like, dude, but I think that's the reason why I rise, because I don't have enough sleep. I don't have enough deprivation to actually go deeper in sleep because I didn't put out as egregious enough in the meditation whenever I was connecting to it. But I rose today to people like, hey man, I can feel your spirit with me, and people having like dreams of me and stuff like that. So it's a lot.
that's really cool.
But I think I'm supposed to do this to the whole world. So the whole world was like having dreams of me and visions. So when I go outside, people are like, dude, that guy from my dreams. Like, oh my God, like this is that dude. I feel like that's the level it wants me to be at. But like, I'm like, I just want to sleep. I want to dream. It's like, bro, I don't care about being in people's dream. I want to dream, man. I want to chill, you know? But I feel like that's probably like the major reason, because last night it was like, it hit me. I'm like, I could be doing more. So whenever Unc was saying about like the rent and stuff like that, I'm like, bro, you're thinking too small. But I felt like I was talking to myself. I'm like, you're thinking too small. Like, see the whole world. Like, me thinking about one girl is like him with $300 rent. It's like, bro, you're thinking about $300 for rent. That's what that is. You thinking about this one girl or something like that. It's just like, you have this whole life and you're thinking about $300. Like, what? The world's huge. Like, it's insurmountable, and it's counting. Like, it continues going forever. But you're thinking about $300. So I'm like, all right, cool. There's effort to it. So it is like drawing.
It makes me wonder, like, you know how you just said that you put a lot of energy at the end of the night because you're like, oh, like, I haven't used, like, let's say like 5 units of energy.
There's 2 halves of the day. So there's a specific energy you put in the daylight, and there's a certain energy you put at the night light, like nighttime and stuff. And they're different. They're different gears to operate in. I am all for the daytime because I get recharged from the sun, but at night Night's not my thing.
Hmm.
You know, septic and stuff like that.
What?
You have septic and tonic, so you have like different. The sun is more of like an antibacterial, antiseptic, while the moon, like this, is like more of a septic. You have like tonic and like toxic. So the moonlight and the night is for bacteria to be able to feast, because the sun is antibacterial. Like it, you know, it's the UVs explode the cells of bacteria because the wavelengths, it can't absorb it. So it's greater. The sun is antibacterial because it gives off the spectrum and it fills your cells. Well, if your cells don't have the capacity to take on the sunlight, they'll burst. And that's what happens whenever people get sunburned. Their cells are dead because they couldn't take in the energetic capacity of the sun at that rate.
Oh, cool.
That's why their cells, their skin cells and everything else get burnt. It's not just heat, because it's not that hot out in the sun. It's not like an oven. That's a real burning. The people are burning because their cells are being filled with the spectrum, primarily UV. And because of the poor infrastructures of the cells, they're not reinforced, they burst, they explode, and they die. And it's the same thing with bacteria. But me, I'm so conditioned, I can take in as much sun as possible because I've, come to this point, and it charges me. But there's not that in the night. All there is breath. So the day is for the light, while the night is for the breath. It's easier to breathe, I would say, at night than it is in the daytime. You can breathe in the daytime, but it's easier to breathe at night. So you have to do a little bit more mechanical work. The sun, you're just in passing, you're just, okay, the sun's shining, okay, cool. But at night, you have to like use your diaphragm and everything else. So a little bit more work. So it's the other gear you go into. It's all this other stuff. But yeah.
That's kind of cool because, like, technically during the daytime, you're more passive, even though the sun part is active.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, the night is passive while you're active. So it's like the yin yang.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to say it. Because the night is passive, I have to be active. Because the sun is active, I can actually be passive and be just as strong.
At nighttime, if the mechanical breath work, like you're saying, is taking a toll, can you upgrade the breathing part during the daytime? So like at the same time at nighttime, like in the same day, it's like stronger, or it's like there's depletion even more?
I can condition myself to be more efficient and strengthen my ability to breathe, but I'm already there. I'm just saying, like, it's laziness that I speak of. So it's not like it's hard. It's the easiest thing to do in the world, because I don't have to make a rocket or something like that. It's literally just breathing. So it's not hard. It's just, it takes a toll to engage mentally with that. So no matter what you are, there's no scaling ratio that would make this simplified at the level of operations. So if your current 100%, or let's say this, so yeah, your previous 100% is now your current 50%. So back in the day, you had to put all this energy out for 100%, but now you've been conditioned to where, like, now it's like you're 50%. It's easy. My old 100%, that's like 50% of me now because I'm so strong. It's not like that. When you go into this, it will always be 100%, or it doesn't turn over. It doesn't respect anything beneath the turnover, or it won't operate. So even if you get stronger, that just means you have to put out more for the 100%, and it gets draining still. It still gets pulling, very pulling.
It kind of reminds me of what they say with like the moon. It's like pulling energy.
Oh,
and so that's why it's
God.
like you always got to do 100% because it's always pulling.
Wow, the sun is bathing energy while the moon is pulling. Oh my God.
So even if you upgrade, it's like, all right, great, more to pull. It's like, oh, okay. It makes sense with the turnover thing also, because it's like, you're the most efficient person that I know. I say person, but you know what I'm saying.
You're the same person.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a person, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, anyways, we're gonna be here for a long time if I describe the thing. But knowing how efficient you are with resources and time and all that, energy, like in the past X amount of years, I know you would have found a way if there's a way. But I think the fact that you're saying it takes 100%, I think also because there's that dichotomy that, like, obviously for the pole to exist, the other pole also has to exist in a sense just as much. So it seems like the higher up you go in leveling up, the more it's going to pull more energy. But that also means you draw more energy during the daytime.
That's the plan, yeah.
So that you can recharge for nighttime. So it's almost like, it's kind of like a different loop where it's like, you know how some people live to eat or they live to work type of vibe?
They can say that, but it's not real. But yeah, they can give themselves that concept or that ideology, but it's not. No one lives to work, even if they make work their main focus. But I get what you're saying.
That's a good point. It seems like you're getting energy from the daytime to put out at nighttime because it's so pulling. And then by the time it's daytime, you recharge yourself or you upgrade yourself to be able to push out so that in the nighttime it can be pulled. And the more it gets pulled, the more it can come in. But that also means you have more influence over everything because you have that much power and strength to push and pull.
The structure's somewhat like that, yeah, but you should be there's a greater level of the pole that's I'll say aggravated through the stimulation is primarily in the gut, while at night it's primarily in the head. And it's easier to stimulate or operate the constant stimulation of that during the daytime because there's more space versus the head. There's not as much space. So to keep it constantly aggravated and agitate is the better word, agitate versus aggravated. The poles agitate it. It's easier in the gut than it is the head because the head has less space. So one little vibration is a lot versus here, they can do all this other stuff and there's like room to wiggle.
So it's more sensitive, you're saying?
Yeah, but it operates more because it seems as if the agitation is to a greater degree in the head than it is here. If you were to compare them.
So this is kind of like a tangent, but do you think that's why there are some skeletons with like big heads? Because they were able to push and pull energy. And so like as they got more more into it, their head started growing so that they have more space.
Well, all the grays they talk about are telepathic. So I would say, yeah, like this whole purpose of having more headspace is because you do more with it as more of the ability to. So things with bigger skulls, like elongated skulls, most likely there was some sort of greater ability through neural connection in their entire being that gave them things, abilities, factors, different skills that people without that didn't have or don't have. Psionic powers, whatever. Telekinesis, telepathy, all the stuff. I know that as my head has grown, I've been more sensitive to reality, to hear things talking, to tell me what it is. Like situational awareness being described from the materials themselves. Almost like a detective comes in like, oh, there's a stain here. That stain most likely is the evidence for, and then in the chain of events, they could solve the mystery. Like the stain is talking. The person's using their deductive skills. Okay, well, this most likely means this. But on this factor of it or this side, just seeing the stain will be like, I'm this. Versus having to go and bounce off of, okay, critical thinking internally, what does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And possibly coming to a conclusion that's so far off of what it actually is that I'm dabbling in psychosis. This is just seems like psychosis on the opposite side, something speaking to you, but you see it, it speaks, and it's the thing itself. It's straight from the source.
Mm.
But I think that has come with a larger head growth.
Mm.
So they probably have some sort of, ability that far exceeds that, because the heads are so big. And when people get abducted or they experiencing things, they usually mention telepathy, like that spoke to them without moving their mouth. That's a greater level of efficiency.
Kind of makes me think about how, like, the head is like the heavens, like the sky. And so that's why you're able to get more of like the unseen stuff when you speak.
Personally, or?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, it's definitely an antenna. Like, you receive a lot of stuff. Like the head, everything, most of the senses are here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So even externally from the brain, right, on the outer portions of your ears, nose, eyes, mouth, everything else. So you are receiving all data here. This is like the tip of the pole.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are like a pole, like a stick, and they have a circle, and then the stick, a little bobbing stick.
Mm.
This receives all the information.
Mm.
You receive information everywhere, but primarily here.
What do you think is the most efficient way to get more?
Utilize what you have.
Yeah.
And then whenever you bring it to its fullest utility and efficiency and optimization, then you have to make room for more. But nature is extremely efficient. So if you aren't using what you have, use it or lose it type of vibe,
Mm-hmm.
even from the consciousness of nature itself, viewing you, observing you.
Mm-hmm.
If you say that you're efficient or utilizing everything, but you're not, you can't fool the observer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have it, then you're not using it,
Mm-hmm. How do you know which part you're being inefficient in? Like, because you've grown your head, so that means that you're becoming more and more sensitive than where you were. So it's like, that's like the physical manifestation of that. So as someone who has done that, I'm thinking, like, how do you even know where you're being inefficient in so that you can get more later?
Yeah. That's a good question. Well, one of the things is not desiring the end result or some sort of goal, having any sort of goal. If you have a goal, you'll bypass the actual purpose of what all this is just for an outcome. So if you are looking for the outcome, that's inefficiency in itself. The purpose would be to observe and see what is, and then through the awareness and acknowledgement of what is, then you come to a greater degree of efficiency. And an example would be like, my eye color changed to blue, right? They're now blue. Mm-hmm. They were like green and brown before. Mm-hmm. My head is bigger. Mm-hmm. There's the clear pictures from before and after. I'm like, my head has grown. Mm-hmm. And even my muscles are bigger. None of those were my goal. I don't care about bigger muscles. I don't care about definitely a bigger head. And I didn't care about changing my eye colors. Like, I don't even see my eyes. I don't see my eyes, so what would I care what color they are? I don't care. So these things happen by default from simply observing the way itself, allowing it to show me, and then operating inside of it. So these outcomes that people would want to strive for or achieve are a byproduct of what you're operating in. And if you ever desire the outcome, then you're not in it. So the only way to get that is to not care about it. How do you get a bigger head or this or that, or blah, 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 blah? Don't care about it. And then you get it. But if you care about it, you might even obtain it, but you lost efficiency along the way because you made that the confirmation, the purpose. The confirmation is never the purpose. The confirmation is just there to indicate the rate of alignment that you're operating in and the sustainability of it. But it's never the goal.
Then what's the path or the journey? Or, because you know how people say, like, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And it kind of sounds like what you're saying, because the destination would technically be like the headspace to be bigger and all that stuff. Like, what would that path be so that, because if I'm thinking about what's the path, then doesn't that mean that I'm actually making that my destination as well? So technically, like, I'm making it a goal to be on the path, which means I wouldn't even get the thing because I'm not actually paying attention to what's here. So like, how do I know what's the thing then? Do I just like, okay, but then that's unawareness. You know what I'm saying?
So then what would be the thing?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
You just said the opposite of it. The other side of the pole. So what would the thing be?
Like awareness?
Yeah. That's it. Awareness.
So like being aware that like the head can grow and that the eyes can change color, but not wanting it or like making that the main focus, you're saying? But just like keep living life.
Don't keep living life. Keep being aware of life. Because you can live and exist, but you're not even aware of like what's going on. So start being aware of like where are we? What's going on? What is this? What's the vibe? What's the setup? What's the scene? Hey, Sasha, is this recording?
Yeah.
Being aware of the camera, being aware of the mic, being aware of this is become aware of all things. Well, Sasha's aware of that, see? And that's the whole purpose of it. It's not a journey. It's just, it's not a destination either. It's just awareness at all times. And you just bring your awareness to whatever you want to be aware of, as long as you want to be aware of it. And then when you're tired of that, be aware of this. And then be aware of that. And then all of a sudden, it's easy to kind of scope out. And you're in your peripheral awareness, which same way, once your peripheral is now your main. You're centered because you have widened your scope so much to you can see before here, but now you can see here. So now it's brought it in and everything's becoming condensed. And as you can condense this, what this is, you can build upon it. And that's probably why my muscles have grown, because of that right there. Because everything speaks in everything. So like what was once was an expanse for me to stretch, to grow, has now been the condensing of. I'm more condensed now. 214 pounds. But I'm like skinny still. Like, yeah, I'm like defined, but like I'm still lanky and stuff. Like, where did this weight come from? I kind of remind me when I was back at 190 something pounds. Where did, but it's the condensing of becoming so packed because you're so efficient that you need less. But that's also not the goal either, to condense or have muscles, but it's going to be part of the operations in the expansion of awareness and the efficiency of life. Things become more condensed. What used to take you 20 minutes now takes you one minute.
Because it compounds on itself. Like you start compounding because you start looking for ways to optimize your energy. Like even subconsciously.
Well, it would be the opposite. It would be condensed versus compounding. Like it's exponential growth, expanding, compounding. It's getting bigger, but condensing is actually contracting. So it's becoming contracted. It's taking less. Now the rate of efficiency, like you have a curve, like a hockey stick, it's happening at a faster rate. Growth and everything else, expansion. So the growth rate may be compounding of efficiency, but it itself is actually condensing and contracting. Oh,
wow. That's cool. I didn't know I had my definitions backwards like that.
It's not necessarily backwards, but it's because you can still use it in a way that is relative to what we're speaking on, but primarily you're contracting. And in your contraction, you're packing something in so much that there's no more space for it, and you build out from it. You can now build out, and that could be the compounding part. But it would be something else. The thing itself isn't compounding, but your entirety is compounding upon each other. And that's where conscious expansion comes from. because it's not singular on this, it's built upon everything. It's the layer expanding outwards because this is so optimized and efficient.
All right, I'm going to check the headroom now.
Sasha can do it for you.
Okay.
She's pretty skilled at all this stuff.
May you want to check the headroom?
Yeah.
All this stuff. Thanks, man.
I got checked out.
Thanks, man.
You say heel? Mikey's Dojo!
Yeah! Man, I'm ready for another question that I want. What's this?
Okay, go ahead.
Thanks, mate. What would you say is awareness, like itself? Because to define awareness, wouldn't that be like you're scoping into something? So then it becomes like a destination or like a goal or something instead of like you know what I'm saying?
You can finish saying it. So
Like,
what is awareness because of all this other stuff? Is there a cap to it? Like, are you done, or is there something else that's tagged along with this?
like pretty much like what is awareness? Because if I define what awareness is, then I might start getting like locked in, and then it starts collapsing on itself instead of it being open, right?
There's
That's
nothing
basically.
There's nothing wrong with being locked in or focused.
Mm.
I'm not saying scope out so you see everything. At some point you have to zoom in and you have to focus on something. Which is okay. There's no vilifying focus, because as you focus you do the condensing, and now you can focus on more because you actually contract so much. Now you can see a fuller picture. The more you focus, the more you see. But if you don't focus, you're not really seeing anything. That's why people, they're not focused, but you can tell they're just not even aware. Like, do you not see what's happening? Because they're not focused. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if I was to define awareness, I would say it's the conscious acknowledgement of a thing. Because you'd be conscious, but you're just, like babies are conscious, but they're not really acknowledging anything. They're like non-receptive. But through your conscious acknowledging, that is there. And that's the awareness of it. Noticing, taking note of, acknowledging.
Like mental notes.
Yeah, mental, or you can verbal. You can even say, like, hey, look, that's a thing. You were aware of that. Hey, there's the keys. Hey, guys, found the keys. Or mental, like, okay, oh, that's there. Okay, cool. I'll remember that later.
You know, when you were saying the whole like concentration thing, I thought about that's probably how you have so much dense muscles and dense thoughts. Or maybe the muscles came from the dense thoughts and obviously the dense concentration, but like, how were you able to do it on yourself? You know, like, you definitely have stimuli, but people can have stimuli, but it's up to them to actually like do stuff and also concentrate it themselves. But like, how did you do it on your own self?
What is it?
Like the concentration of thought, or like refining yourself to where you can concentrate and just like collapse that thing into it.
What is that? What is it though? Into what?
Into itself.
So consciousness. So you're saying consciousness into itself is the ultimate. Is the ultimate thing you're saying?
I think so. Like, I think that's what I'm saying.
Because I can answer multiple things, but it seems like maybe there's something that you're thinking that it is that hasn't been verified that it's that. So you're going with that. But I really want to know from your from your perspective, what do you consider it to be? How do I collapse and densify my conscious on my conscious?
It's kind of like, it seems like you found a way to know what you didn't know, even though you get stimuli from the external, but you were able to collapse what you know from also the stuff that you don't know, at least from what I knew that you didn't know, from the way that you were saying things, that I'm like, oh, like, because we found out that you didn't know that until after, but you were still able to collapse on that thing, which means you were able to sense the thing that you didn't know, but still condense with the thing that you didn't know. So how did you know how to do something that you didn't know what to do?
And that's your question?
Yeah.
Okay. By being aware of what you do know. So when there's unfamiliarity in the air, the atmosphere, you can identify it. So you know if it's different, it's most likely not going to be that. So then you can appropriate yourself to whatever that thing is. And in real time, you can receive correct or close to correct actions on whatever needs to be done in that time or that manner.
How do you make things like sound so simple? It's like, duh, like when I ask you a question, I'm like, oh my god, this, oh my gosh, how do you even do? And you're like, yeah, just take your shoes off the front door and just walk in. It's like, oh my god, why didn't I think about that? Like, how are you able to do that? What do you see inside of me where it's like, it's stopping me from also having that? Like, how do you have that? Do you know what I mean by that? Or do you need me to define that?
Yeah, I'll share this with you as a secret that's no longer a secret. The hang up or the block is you see yourself as not having it, and that's what you're fighting against. So you're creating a scenario to achieve or rise because you, in your mental position, don't believe that you have that, and that's why. I don't believe that I have that, so therefore I'm just acknowledging whatever is happening, and I'm like, okay, cool. What do I need to do? But I'm not saying like, man, I don't have this. What do I need to do to have this? And that's specifically your approach to it, and the thing that's perpetuating itself.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks, Michael.
Yeah.
I'm basically coming from a lack mindset type of vibe, and like I don't have, compared to like, oh, what is this? Like, it's not that it's assuming that you don't have or anything. It's just identifying. That's your first step. Whereas mine is like, I don't have. Now identify. Now do this.
Because the tool that's being applied in this specific scenario is the tool that's applied in all scenarios. It's consciousness. So whenever this thing that I'm appropriating myself to is being acknowledged because I'm aware, which is fueled by my consciousness. You're responding to my statements and even my questions, showing that you have the same tool. It's a single tool. It's consciousness. And you're displaying it right now. So you already have it. And it's not something that a person has or doesn't have. There's no thing. There just is. There's no such thing as no thing. There's just consciousness. That's all there is. So when something's coming, you just observe it. Now you can apply it in different manners, but it's the same tool. Nonetheless, it's consciousness. And you could shape it to look like a wrench or a hammer or whatever, but the construct, the material, the intangible material is consciousness. So how do you have, what do you mean? It's consciousness, you have it too. It might be more so of how do you apply would be a better question or a more suitable question for this. How do you apply your consciousness to have a higher success rate in the outcome when this situation is occurring? Oh, well, blah, 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 blah. But it's not something I have and you don't. It's just the consciousness itself, which every living being has. And there's no degree, there's no measure. People have slidden into conformity because they believe conceptual words like genius, smarter, intelligence when all you have to do, there's nothing, none of that stuff even matters. There's just receptiveness and awareness. There's no such thing as intelligence or smart, because that intelligence they have may not save them over here. Smart people still pass. Smart people still do stupid stuff, like marry their cousins or something like that. It's like, well, genetically, you may not want to do that, you know? So it doesn't matter the exploits of a certain field a person's able to demonstrate, whether it's physics or whatever genre you want to go to into. It's primarily the receivability moment by moment of what's happening in real time, not theoretically, that consists a person. It continues to proceed and bring them into the next moment. And that is what consciousness is for, staying alive. That's the only thing it's for. It's not for math. It's not for money. It's simply to stay alive. And every moment's different, because the sun's always in a different position in the sky, even if it comes back. Like it does, like season to season. When it comes back this time, you're in a different position than where it was last time. The weather's a little cooler. The weather's a little hotter. You're at a higher elevation, lower. Like everything's always different, always moving. So there's no formula or routine or regimen to take part of on a moment by moment basis. Those are there for cognitive conservation. So you can preserve the energy that you have in your mental cognition, so you don't become overstimulated and then drained, which would lull you into unawareness. You're still conscious, but you're just unaware about what's going on. So routines are like a stepping stool or like some training wheels to preserve you until you have the mental conditioning to be aware of all things at all times, always. But eventually, you want to come to the point where you're engaging your consciousness in awareness to know what to do in a second by second, moment by moment basis. And it supersedes any sort of scientific field. You know, I'm not hating on science or anything like that, but like there's a lot of scientists who weren't paying attention because they were paying attention over there versus over here. And you can see just the drain from the face, the body, the human body, the soul. Not all of them, but I'm just saying, like, it can go towards anything. People who deal in money or finances just drains their life force, their vigor, because they stayed focused on that. When there's a time to focus on money, there's a time to focus on math, there's time to focus on whatever field, but to make it the priority, the main, becoming myopic in this one thing, it takes away your consciousness from everything, which the purpose of consciousness is to stay alive. What's the theme of life? Everything. Everything is the theme of life. The sun, the moon, the stars, the temperature, the elevation, the colors, the frequencies, the feelings, the sleep, the not sleep, this, the that, the breathing. Everything is the genre of life. So we're here to experience all of it and to know it. And through knowing it, we sustain our life. But to take all that energy and just put into one thing, it quickly sucks the soul, depletes it, which would cut off your preservation. Even if you're still alive at 80, your soul is sucked, your essence is sucked, your vitality is sucked. And then you're not able to perpetuate your own life force into the next category or chamber, and then a person, ceases to exist. They call it contraction death. I call it contraction, they may call it death. But you only pass away because you weren't aware how to continue living the next second. A person only has their life ended because they did not have the capacity to bring it into the next moment. Most people have been bringing it into the next moment by default because a lot of things are already cushioned for us. So like we have modern temperature regulation, like ACs and heaters and stuff like that. And then we have food that's served to us. So a lot of people have already been placed in a position of non-consent living. And I know that might sound crazy, but like they're not even consenting to living. It's just that life is so easy now. Everyone's alive, but they're not even trying to be alive. It's being handed to them. So it's kind of like, okay, cool, yeah, let me let me go work because like it's the thing you do. Yeah, let me go eat because that's what you do. But they're not even consenting to truly eating or truly working or truly living, and they're just here. So they're conscious, but they're not aware because the life that they're living they didn't consent to it. They're not actually engaged in it. But whenever you come to the point of consciousness, like in expansion and awareness of it, then everything you have to take account for, everything you put in your mouth, everything you, at whatever time you go to bed, waking up, sleep, whatever, everything, you have to become aware of it because you're actually consenting to it. Maybe it would be better called unaware consent. They're unaware that they're consenting to living. And so life to them sucks, or it's not as great as it could be, or they know that there's more because they don't even know what I just said. That it's unaware consent. And if you're unaware through all this, then you get your essence and your vitality drained from you, and you look older as you get greater in age. But there's a lot of people who are like 80, they don't even look old because they were paying attention. It's not because they ate only vegetables or this or that. They were aware to stay happy or moving or something for the purpose of living. But either way, to the highest degree, when you truly know what life is, you can bring yourself into each upcoming chamber, moment by moment, primarily unfazed.
You know, when you were saying all of that, there were some thoughts that popped up. Like one of them was, you were saying how everyone has consciousness, and that's the, in a sense, tool, in a sense. But
all life is conscious. Even trees grow towards the sun. It's not a mechanical thing. It's a bit of awareness. Though they don't have eyes or a direct muscular system to go instantly towards it. Mm-hmm. Everything in them is geared towards what life is. All consciousness moves towards life.
Dang, that also pings me into thinking like, then when we eat living foods, we're just eating consciousness.
Partially.
And then that's where they talk about like levels of consciousness and all that.
Partially, yeah.
But I'm also thinking about when you said everyone has consciousness and that's the tool that they can first start out with. It kind of made me think about like, no matter how much you dress up a person, whether it be like, in a sense, a homeless person or like the royals, like however you want to dress them up, it's still the same thing. If you want to package it this way, like, hey, here's like this brand of apple compared to, hey, this brand of they're still apples. And it made me think about that. And then also when you were saying the whole, like, you get sucked when your conscious isn't like there. And then I thought about how you also said something that kind of also pinged this before you went into like a little bit later, is like at nighttime, people like they have false light and they're in their house, like shut off, they're conscious in a sense, and it's not expanding. So it kind of seems like maybe you feel drained as well at nighttime, even when you're pushing out, because it's also making up for a bunch of people that aren't also pushing out and they're being unconscious and they're not pushing out with consciousness. Even though there's plants that also probably push out, but probably not as much as like the human conscious that's also radiating, because now they have like this stuff. But then if I have a street lamp and there's some plants next to it, then it wouldn't be pushing out as much, right? Because it's under false light. So it thinks it's like daytime, but it's not.
So going to the point of the tiredness at night, I don't think it's dependent upon other people pushing out with their conscious. Although everything does affect everything, the fatigue that I feel is primarily based on the intensity that's needed to be effective. And that's independent of anybody else's from what I've seen so far.
But then also the moon is the pulling energy, so even if you get effective, it's going to be proportionally the same, right?
The sun being bathing, while the moon being a force that pulls, is it's more so an acknowledgement of the functions, not in totality, of each body, sun and the moon. It's separate still of what's actually being done, although it's representative of what that portion of time is, day and night. So it's not that necessarily the moon just pulls and the fatigue is there, but it's also that the sun isn't there bathing and giving. So it's not the cause of fatigue, but it's the alert of what time it is to operate in. I could take the same thing and do it at night and do it during the day, and most likely I would still feel the fatigue because it takes a certain amount of intensity. There's nothing really to allow that to fall on besides just doing it.
Would you say, like, there's other modes and methods besides breathing? Because I remember you also said that is a little bit part of laziness, but if it's taking away from you to where you said that you saw aging, is it laziness still?
It's a good question. Well, the laziness would be not already arriving at a point to find some sort of solution to where I'm able to operate in that without the draw from me at a deficit to where any signs of aging would appear. So, in layman's terms, like, well, why haven't I found a way to do it without aging? I have all this time. It's nobody to blame, but no one to take responsibility but me. So should see it in that manner, and that brings a lot more of effectiveness in moving forward when I approach situations like that.
One of the things that I really admire about you, which I don't know if you knew this, is like that you take responsibility like out the gate type of vibe. Like, it took me a while to cultivate this after being around you. And sometimes it's not the first thing I go to because of conditioning, but I'm trying to get there. Like, how do you think well, why aren't I already there? Like, how do you have such a strong mindset like that to where you're like, oh, this is laziness, and you're able to identify, oh, why didn't I make a process for this? This is laziness, and this and this and this and this, and like taking responsibility for everything instead of getting into the weakness. And like, emotions can be strong, like they can be powerful and get you towards power, and they can be utilized properly, but a lot of times they're utilized improperly, and the emotions can fuel weakness instead of strength. How do you do that to where it goes towards strength instead of weakness, like right out the get-go? Is it just like practice and conditioning? How did you fortify your mind to where it's like that? Because until I met you, it's like, unless there were hard times, like, why bother type of vibe. Like, yeah, I'm like, why would I? Like, there's no reason or push or anything. But if the environment's pushing me, oh my God, I gotta make it go, go, go. But you do it even when there's so much peace and love, or unless in your mind you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's go, go, go time. But then like your body would be stressed out. So like, how do you do that? Like right out the get-go. But I think I asked a bunch of questions in that to like tackle it. So yeah.
So I love you too. The only route of effectiveness is application. So if to not apply would be stagnation. So it's not even taking responsibility. It's just, that's the modality of a result. That's the only way. So like, who else could take action or apply but the consciousness, like the consciousness itself? Nothing. So it's not even responsibility. It's not even being strong. It's just the operation of what life is application. That's the only way anything happens. Even your phone has apps, because this is a phone without apps is nothing. You even have a little app button for dialing to call somebody. It's applications, apps. So to move forward, progress, or have any sort of outcome or result is preceded by the application of whatever your thoughts are at that time of the most suitable way to arrive there. So it's not that I'm taking responsibility, it's that I'm taking in data and seeing what's there, so I can then continue to apply my interpretation into the situation towards the direction of the desired outcome.
That makes me think about, like, it seems like the only way to move through time and space, in a sense, and for actual like movement to exist, you have to actually move forward. Like, it's kind of like duh, but the movement forward is like taking a result or taking an action. Consciousness applied. Even you like doing this, that's consciousness applied. Like, that's the only way to move. If you're stagnant and aging, it means you haven't made a move. Like, you're just letting, in a sense, like the chessboard just keep going. It's just there. Like, no one made a piece move. And then people are like, man, why isn't the game going? The chess is like, no one made a move. It's like, and they're just there. Like, of course, no resources or anything are flowing through because nothing is moving. So consciousness applied is the actual movement forward. So it's not about weakness or strength. That's just the move. Like, it's either you move or you don't. It's not even this move, this move, this move. No, there's only one move, which is to move.
I want to make this point that when you actually look at everything that's spoken, a lot of these terms and ideologies and approaches are conceptual. They're just concepts. Good and bad, strong, weak. They're not even real. There's no such thing as strong. There's no such thing as weak, because what is strong today could be weak tomorrow. And what's strong for this person is really weak for that person. So they're subjective. Good, bad, strong, weak. When you start removing these things from your scope and your thoughts, you're a lot more effective in your ability, in your resourcefulness, and your stamina and endurance. Because it's having those concepts and potential pathways present in your thinking exhaust you, because they're non-existent. They're not real. So whenever you look at something just for what it is, you can have a greater rate of efficiency and effectiveness in it, because you're not applying the tone or the shade of good, bad, strong, weak. I don't consider myself strong for paying attention or weak for not paying attention. It's either I am or I'm not, which makes it a lot less taxing on my mind. Because I'm not thinking, well, was I weak in that moment? Was I going to fall? Was I tired? Those things are hyperboles that anything present draws energy. So to even have those things in my mind would just take resources of my cognition, most likely leading to a non-desired result, or it wouldn't be as high as it could be because those things were tainted by the idea of strong and weak. There's no such thing as strong. There's no such thing as weak. It's subjective. Mm-hmm. This person's stronger. You can say this person's strong, but then you put them up to a stronger person. Now they're weak. Now this person's strong. We put them up to a stronger person. Now so it's very subjective. Mm. So unless it's necessary, I find no need to even use those terms, which has granted more effectiveness in my own life personally.
That's great. It's like subjectiveness is not absolute, and subjectiveness, having that is kind of like putting yourself under something as a subject. And even in school, you have subjects like this. It's not the actual main thing.
Yeah. It's a great way to put it.
Man, you put it great. It's like, it is what it is. It is or it isn't.
Yeah. And then what are you subjecting yourself to? Stop. Just, is it this or not? Yes or no? Now, of course, there's factors, and everything goes infinitely inward and infinitely outward, like we've discussed before, like in the Discord and stuff like that. But nonetheless, it's 0, 1, A, B. Mm-hmm. This, that. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. Sometimes that in this situation will be this in another situation. So just pay attention, second by second, moment by moment. But a person needs the cognitive resources to be able to do that. So if a person isn't to the brim of their energetic capacity, they won't have the mental fortitude to be able to even intelligently interpret what's going on in their reality. So they'll become blunted in their cognition, in their awareness, and they'll allow a lot of stuff to pass them by. So you have to operate at a rate of sustainability, or you'll be burned out. You'll be mentally fried.
How do you, like, because as you explain that, like, it is or it isn't, it's not stronger or weaker, this, that, after you explain that, I could feel the mental load off of my head. Like, in real time, I'm like, oh, like, thank goodness I got a bunch of resources now. It's like I can keep this money, you know, like my mental money.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you like know where you're doing like, how do you like take it off immediately? Or is that not the thing to do? Like last time when we talked about, it's not about trying to do everything all at once right now, but how do I make sure that I'm in the is or is not simple mind, in a sense? And how do I know if the is and is not is accurate or actual without going into mental masturbation type of vibe?
Well, a lot of ways that people, and primarily the only way that people come to conclusions are through references and factors. So becoming aware of certain factors can give you a good point of reference to the effectiveness of what you're attempting to do. Mm-hmm. You know how you usually feel within your mind, and now you hearing it's not about strong or weak has now given you seemingly an enlightenment in your mind. You feel lighter, mm-hmm. as referred to the reference point of how you felt prior. So you have to take in consideration as many factors and reference points as possible to come to a justifiable conclusion within your own mind of what path you're going down, and is this actually affecting me or not. So you have to start taking in as many reference points as possible throughout your life. And it takes time to accumulate it, but accumulate it at a rate that's sustainable, that you know yourself. If you start getting exhausted, it's okay to take a break. You don't have to go in all at once. You have to do it all now. Mm-hmm. And making sure that your rate of sustainability, your energetic capacity, your load, how you feel, and everything else is in an equilibrium of operation to where you can continue going down this way indefinitely. Mm-hmm. So constantly scaling back and aligning yourself back to the course, your trajectory. So realignment. A lot of people say like reset. Reset's to reset, go back to the original former. We're not going back to the former. We're moving forward in alignment. So you realign. Don't reset, realign. And you're taking your reference points and your factors in real time to utilize, to bounce off of, ping off of, through your interpretation of whatever you're experiencing, to come to those conclusions yourself. It's an internal thing. Now you could partner with somebody to find what's the most efficient route, like we're doing right now. But in your day-to-day, you had to first ask the questions like, well, how are you so strong? For it to even be revealed, oh, strength and weakness isn't real. It's conceptual and it's subjective. To even come to that, but it would have never happened unless you were already on your own path independently, but through interdependence, it was revealed. So continuing even knowing these words before you know if they're conceptual or actual, are going to bring you to the point where they're eventually brought up to where you, if you are partnering or collaborating with somebody who is on the level of that awareness, they can even be shown for the validity of what they are. So some things take time, some things take exposure, some things take awareness and acknowledgement. But if you even know that some things are just conceptual, that will at least start you on the way of having these things revealed to you. So you can start taking out these things. And when you take them out, how do you feel? Oh, man, I feel lighter. Okay, now that you feel lighter, are you more reckless though? Was that actually keeping you aligned? Like, okay, well, I need to be strong. It's actually keeping you aligned so you're not reckless. Like you might feel lighter now that it's gone, but are more things being destroyed? Then there's a new formula you gotta take account of. Do I put it back or do I see it in this light now? And these are things that you go through and that you use your awareness for. That's why I'm saying like studies are great, but it shouldn't all be in math. It shouldn't all be in this or that or that or this. It should be spread out through the variety and the diversity of what life actually is, which is all things. Life is all things. Height, depth, frequency, color, all that's everything. It's everything. Communication, love, feelings, emotions. But you got to be able to expand all together. And if there's any imbalance, the person will topple. It's where a lot of midlife crises happen and come in, because a person has primarily put the focus of their life into a thing versus all things. When a person's balanced in their homeostasis, their equilibrium, and in all these factors of their life, there's less occurrence of a midlife crisis because they're so fortified on all fronts. But if they make a person their life and that person leaves, then they have a midlife crisis. Or if they make a job their life, they're primarily focused on this one thing. If that thing goes, there's nothing else there. And you're not expanding for the purpose of avoiding a midlife crisis. The midlife crisis is just the indicator of the imbalance, but it's not the thing to avoid. You're not avoiding a midlife crisis. You're just acknowledging any imbalance. And these intentions are sensitive and it's very gray, but nonetheless, you're not looking to avoid, you're looking to acknowledge. I don't want to avoid a midlife crisis. If there's something imbalanced in me, allow the midlife crisis to happen so I can be exposed to it of any imbalance. But a lot of people will, okay, well, I need to fortify all my fronts so I don't have a midlife crisis. You do that, then the midlife crisis is your goal. You're still blind to what life actually is. But when you're saying, I'm willing for anything to happen, exposed to me and show to me, then you can see these concepts and things like that, like, okay, strong and weak. You can acknowledge them. And now you expand from there. And if it happens, you're using it as an indicator versus an avoidance. I'm not trying to avoid a midlife crisis. I'm actually trying to apply it so I can see what in my life is unstable. I'm trying to shake everything in my life to find out what's unstable, because what's shaken will be broken off. Let it break. I'm not aggressively or angrily or, in anger or trying to purposely destroy stuff in my life, but I'm looking for what's being shaken and allow it to be shaken so I can either fortify it or break it off so I can establish myself from the center point, the epicenter outward at a sustainable rate versus reaching and becoming imbalanced because I focus on one thing or two things or whatever.
So when you were saying all that, in my mind, I thought about, oh, okay, what's a good versus bad like reference point? And I'm like, oh, the good versus bad, like the subject.
It's everywhere.
The relative.
Subjective and conceptual, yeah.
Conceptual. So I'm like, I also do wonder, like, if I'm having everything, like as much reference points as possible, wouldn't that overload me? Or
no, that's what your senses are. That's when you know you're cold. It's when you know it's bright or it's dark, because those are the reference points. It's dark because you know what light is, you know, to you, and you know it's cold because you know what heat is and everything else. But your ability of your sustainability in operations of that is completely dependent on your mental cognition. A baby would be overly stimulated, so they would cry. But as you grow into adulthood, you should fortify yourself to be able to receive all these indicators simultaneously to where you're not overstimulated. And if you are, mark that down as your point, go and fortify yourself and then inch your way towards it in growth.
So what would be a way to fortify myself? And also what I mean by what I just said is talking about, like, if in my mind I'm thinking about electricity, then I go straight into like electrical mechanics and I just go like, and then I'm just kind of in that vortex. But also you were bringing up a good point about like, well, we're taking in senses. So is it like exposed to our senses and focusing on that, or like me focusing on electromagnetism or whatever, that's technically a subject in school or whatever. So technically, is that me getting into subjectivity because that is literally a subject? So like, where would be the definitions of being reference pointed into?
Reference pointed.
But also, like, how do I fortify if I do, oh my gosh, this is way too much, I can't cry. I mean, I could, but I'm not at that level. You know, I think I'm past that level. Unless I'm not, then it's cool. But just, you know what I'm saying?
You want to bring yourself to the point to where you'd find out, like, am I going to cry today or not? You know, not because a person stays sensitive or undeveloped, but that's the indicator that they are undeveloped in that realm. And that's what needs to be established and fortified. But remember, the primary focus of what was said earlier was imbalance, not avoidance of subject. So you're not avoiding subjects, like electromagnetism, science, physics, anything like that. But you want to make sure that's not your primary focus in totality. Like, hey, I am a electrophysicist. This is all I focus on. I'm an engineer, this or that. It's great, it's cool, it's needed for the infrastructure of, you know, cities and everything else. But to make it your primary focus all day on this, there's going to be an imbalance that's developed. Everything needs to be taken into consideration at the rate of sustainability. So it's not that you're avoiding subjects because, okay, well, subjects aren't real, they're conceptual. Well, that's not, again, that's going on the detour of the good and the bad itself.
Yeah.
Take in everything. There is electricity, there is electromagnetism, there is quantum physics and weight and engineering and, you know, load and levers and mechanical function, all this, there's so much out there. And it's okay to focus on it. It's okay to even go in for a time to focus on it, but don't continue to have your focus solely there by being able to inhale, exhale, then inhale, exhale over here, then inhale, exhale over here, then here and here and here. You have a spherical 360 degrees on 360 fronts all around you to operate in, expanding it at a sustainable rate. And like we were saying in our last video, if you don't think you're going to do it, you're going to try to cram everything in at once. But when you know, like, hey, look, I'm here for a while, I'll be here for a while, you're not trying to cram everything in, you're doing it at a rate that's sustainable. And then over time, it happens. It's how I even know what I know, because there's no rush. Which you helped me with that too. Moving and saunter, just it's all good. I'm not being lackadaisical, but I'm also not rushing and hurrying. You know, if a person starts stubbing their toe or losing their keys, it's an indicator that they're rushing in life. They're not even paying attention. You're paying attention not so much that you're hurting yourself, you're causing yourself harm. What'd your big toe ever do to you? It keeps you balanced. Why do you keep hitting it? Or your pinky toe, you know, like,
because you're imbalanced, you keep hitting it to tell you you're imbalanced.
Yep, that's the only way you could fall, is if you weren't balanced. It's the only way you can hit yourself is you weren't aware.
Okay. I think there's a lot of good gems in there. I think my mind is like, oh. Wow. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I love you. Thanks for the second episode filming.
Yeah. Well, Aini.
I love you.
Sarange.
Okay. Thank you. My sock.